Hello and warm welcome to all of you. Today I am here with the part 7 of history chapter number 3, Nationalism in India. Dear student, in previous lecture we already discussed what is non-cooperation movement, why Mr. Gandhi started non-cooperation movement. Even we also discussed different social group participated in non-cooperation movement, but the aim of their participation is different. Today we are going to discuss the movement in the town, means how non-cooperation movement started in the towns of our country. The movement started with middle class participation in cities. Thousands of students left government controlled schools and colleges. Headmaster and teacher resigned, and lawyers gave up their legal practices. First, this non-cooperation movement was started in the town, in the cities of our country, with the participation of middle class people. In cities, students they left the government controlled school, headmaster, teacher they resigned from this government controlled school. Even the lawyer they gave up actually their legal practices. So movement begin with the boycott of government school, colleges and government courts. The council election were boycotted in most provinces except Madras. Even Indian people they boycotted means not to participate, refused to participate. They boycotted council election in most of the provinces except only in Madras, where the Justice Party, the party of the non-Brahman, felt that entering the council was one way of gaining some power, something that usually only Brahmins had access to. In most part of the India, most provinces of India, the Indian people they boycotted council election. Only Justice Party in Madras they failed to enter in council. Is the only way to gain some power, to resist, to oppose against Britisher. So they not boycotted a council election because in most of the election, Brahmins they were dominating the election. So Justice Party was non-Brahmin party. Is the member of Justice Party they all were non-Brahmin, and in most of the election, Brahmins they control the election, means they were elected. So that's why they believe that to enter in council, that is only one way to gain some power. So here I would like to tell you, non-cooperation movement begin in town with the participation of middle class people. Students they left the schools and colleges. Headmaster, teacher they also left the schools. Even the lawyer they also gave up their legal practices. So with this, non-cooperation movement was started in town. Now, what were the effect of the movement on colonial economy? When Indian people started to boycott all the foreign things, all the foreign goods, all the foreign things, so because of it, the colonial economy were affected. We will see in this. the effects of non-cooperation on economic front were more dramatic because of the boycott of foreign kings. The economy, colonial economy, means British government economy were dramatically affected. Foreign goods were boycotted, liquor shops picketed, and foreign clothes burned in huge bonfire. As we discussed, Indian people, they boycotted foreign items. So because of it, they boycotted foreign goods, liquor shops picketed. Actually, to picket, to not to allow people to enter into the liquor shop by demonstration. At the entrance, Indian people, they stood up and not allow Indian people to enter in this liquor shop. Liquor means, all of you have idea about this, wine. So Indian people boycotted foreign goods, liquor shops were picketed by Indian people, and foreign clothes burned in huge bonfire. Bonfire means huge open huge open fire. In that they burned down foreign goods. Foreign goods means British clothes and British goods. The import of foreign clothes between 1921 to 1922. Hal means half. So because of this, Indian people boycotted foreign items. So because of it, the import of foreign item into India, from Britain to India, actually it goes down. It almost actually half between 21 to 22. Within 1 year or 2 years time, actually the import goes down to half. Its value dropping from rupees 102 crore to rupees 57 crore. Earlier, the value of import of foreign item, it was 102 crore. But because of boycott of this foreign item, the import value goes down to 57 crore. Almost half. So there was a huge effect on colonial economy. In many places, merchants and traders refused to trade in foreign goods or finance foreign trade. Many merchants, many businessmen, they were engaged actually in the business of foreign item, but they refused to even finance, or they refused to trade in foreign goods, because now Indian people, they boycotted this foreign item. Even foreign clothes were burned down in huge bonfire. So they had feared that if they do this trade of this foreign item, so their goods were burned down by Indian people. So merchants, businessmen, they also feared. They refused to trade foreign item. Even they refused to finance for the foreign trade. As the boycott movement spread and people began discarding imported clothes and wearing only Indian ones, production of Indian textile mills and handlooms went up. Now, as I tell you, Indian people boycotted foreign items, foreign goods, foreign clothes. So because of opposed of using this foreign item, now Indian people, they started to wear Indian clothes. They started to use Indian item. So because of it, it was actually a benefit for Indian mill. They were able to produce more and more Indian goods, more and more Indian items, and Indian people, they were using all it. So one side, there was a huge effect, there was actually terrible effect on colonial economy, but on the other end, there was a benefit for Indian mill and Indian the textile and Indian handloom. because they started to produce more and more, because now Indian people, they started to use only Indian item. So one side there was a loss for colonial economy, on the other hand there was a benefit to Indian, that the handloom production and textile production. So this was the effect of non-cooperation movement on colonial economy. This is a very important question. Might they ask you even in board exam, what were the effects of non-cooperation movement on colonial economy? So you can write all these things. Indian people, they boycotted foreign goods, foreign items, foreign clothes, and because of it, the import actually goes down, and it almost halved. So in the period of 1921 to 1922, that the value of the import goods from British to India, it was 102 crore, but it goes down to 57 crore, and because of it, there was a great loss for colonial economy. On the other side, Indian people started to use Indian items. So because of it, there is a benefit. There was a benefit for Indian textile mill and handloom production. Now the third important actually point of discussion is why movement slow down. Non-cooperation movement began in town with the middle class participation. But now, why this movement slow down? But this movement in cities gradually slow down for variety of reasons. This movement was started with the middle class participation in town. But gradually, slowly, these movements slow down for variety of reasons. Many reasons were responsible for slowing down of this movement in town. Most important reason is khadi cloth was often more expensive than mass produced mill cloth, and poor people could not afford to buy it. Most important reason why these movements slow down. Most important first reason is that khadi cloth means Indian cloth were very expensive in comparison to mass production of the mill. In mill, Britishers, they were able to produce in mass, in group. On the other hand, khadi clothes were very expensive in comparison to this mass-produced mill product, mass-produced mill clothes. So because of it, Indian poor people, they were not able to afford it. Means they were not in position to purchase these expensive Indian clothes in the form of khadi. So it means that mill production, British product, British item were cheap in comparison to khadi clothes. British clothes, foreign clothes were cheap in comparison to khadi clothes of India. So that's the first reason. First reason, what? Khadi clothes were expensive in comparison to foreign clothes. So because of it, poor Indian people, they were not afford to purchase it khadi clothes. How then could they boycott mill clothes for too long? So it is obvious that Indian clothes were expensive. So now these poor people, they again turn towards the cheap than the foreign clothes, because they had no other option. Similarly, boycott of British institution posed a problem. For the movement to be successful, alternative Indian institution had to be set up so they could be used in place of the British one. These were slow to come up. Second reason is that, as we discussed, that students they left schools, colleges, government controlled colleges, officials, headmasters, teachers, they resigned from these government controlled colleges and schools. Lawyers, they also left the court. So second reason is that there was no alternative institution. Actually, there were no Indian school, there were no Indian colleges, and court system is also controlled by these Britishers. So for the movement to be successful, alternative Indian institution had to be set. So if they want to succeed this movement, boycott movement, this non-cooperation movement, first they had to establish Indian schools, Indian colleges and court system, but no alternative Indian institution were there. So then again no alternative institution were there. So because of it, students, teachers, headmaster and even lawyers, they again turned towards this British institution. These were slow to come up, so students and teachers began trickling back to government school and lawyers joined back work in government courts. So that's why no alternative Indian student institution were there. Schools, colleges and courts were not there. So because of it, the Indian student, they again turned towards government controlled school and colleges. Teachers, professors also joined the schools, they also joined the job, and even the lawyers, they also joined the government courts. So these are the two important reasons for slowing down this non-cooperation movement. So today, in today's lecture, students, we have discussed how this non-cooperation movement started in town. Second point, we discussed the effect of this non-cooperation movement on colonial economy. And the third, that why non-cooperation movement slowed down. So might they can ask you, describe the reason why non-cooperation movement slow down. So you can write both these reasons. First one is that khadi clothes were very expensive in comparison to British clothes, and second, there was no alternative Indian institution for students, teachers, professors and lawyers. So that's why again they joined government control institution. So today I would like to conclude my today's lecture. Wait for the next part of this chapter. Thank you very much for your cooperation.